Hey guys, now we're just going to do the driving part of the autopilot video. So I'll start by just going through the basics of the autopilot display and controls. So here on the screen we have the speed limit, we have the Autosteer symbol which says Autosteer is available, and then we have the set speed. So remember in the settings I've got it set so that when it's activated it will just do the current speed of the vehicle will be the set cruise speed, and then I can then change that after it's set. So they're the main features there, and we'll go through them when we're operating it. The next one is the shift lever here. So the shift stalk. Basically to activate the traffic aware cruise control, you push down on that stalk once and then you double push on that to give you auto steer. You can just double press on that straight away, go straight into auto steer, autopilot mode, and yeah, that's the basics of it. The next part is the right thumb wheel. You can use, you go up and down to control your set speed, where that is set at, and left and right on the thumb wheel to control the distance from the car in front of you. So we're about to go onto a motorway, which is, if you haven't used auto steer or traffic aware cruise control, the radar cruise control, whatever, same system that a lot of cars have had. It's just in this car it's really just a different display in the controls. This system is available in a lot of different cars these days. The Volkswagen Tiguan that I had before this car, it had auto steer and the radar cruise control and all of that stuff. It just wasn't as, it was a pretty clunky system. You had to be, when you were using auto steer, you really had to be quite careful where you used it. It was really only a freeway highway thing, unless you got super used to it. But basically, yeah, if it lost auto steer, it would just go wandering all over the place. So the Tesla Autosteer system or autopilot system is much safer than any other system I've ever used. And you know, really, if it loses the lane markings, it will just sort of pull the car up and slow it down, and yeah, no problem, give you plenty of warning to take control. Much better than other systems. Other systems will you'll just veer into the other lane once if it loses sight of the lane markings of the road. The Tesla system is much smarter. So you're actually getting a bit of a snapshot of the full self-driving side of things and how it will work. So it's a much smarter system than other cars. I don't have the full self-driving package in this car, so I don't have navigate on autopilot available, but the standard autopilot system is actually pretty good. So you can see here I'm going into a 90 kilometer an hour zone here. I'll drive close to 90 kilometers an hour, and first of all you can see one press of the stalk here takes me into traffic aware cruise control. I can then adjust my speed here to the 90 kilometers an hour. So you can do it manually with the thumb wheel, or you'll see if I back that off to 85 on the set speed, and I can hold, there's two different ways you can do it. You can hold down this stalk for a couple of seconds and it changes and matches the speed zone. The other way to do it, if I back off to 85 again, is to touch the screen. Then it changes your set speed to 90. So back onto the manual adjustment, so the right thumb wheel, I can scroll up and down. I can go very slowly and I will go up in increments, up or down in increments of 1 kilometer an hour. Or if I move the thumb wheel quickly, it'll go in increments of 5 kilometers an hour. So you can see there, 85, quick scroll up to 90. So that's a bit of a shortcut there. Then you have the left and right on the thumb wheel. You can see here adjusting the distance to the car in front of me. I can go all the way up to 7 car lengths, or I like to keep it down to 1 or 2. I like to keep 2 on a motorway, 1 when I'm using it on a normal road. You'll see here I'm exiting again and going onto a a normal sort of 2 or 3 lane road. The exits, it still slows you down automatically. You can see there it cut me back to 80. I think that's just an inbuilt safety feature. When it realizes you're in an exit, it also just dropped me back to 70 automatically. That's something I've noticed here as a safety feature. So if you accidentally veered off into an exit lane like that, it won't just keep you at the 100 kilometers an hour or 90 kilometers an hour. It will slow you down. And that isn't the navigate on autopilot. I don't have that that feature. I don't have the full self-driving package. So yeah, just you really do need to be careful with this system. There are, you know, along that motorway there is the easiest place to learn with it. But when you start using it on roads like we're about to go on to now, you need to be extra vigilant. Keep your hand on the wheel at all times, and really just keep your eye out for that system, you know, wandering or doing something there. So I'm going to go straight into activating the autopilot with the Autosteer here. So remember, that was a double press on the stalk. I'm going to get in the middle lane here and accelerate up close to the speed. Double tap on the stalk. You can see Autosteer is active, and that little steering wheel on there is animated. As it's turning corners, you'll see that steering wheel move. You know, just another cool little thing Tesla have added there. They didn't have to. So you can see I'm set to 75 because that's where I was when I activated it. So I can either press the 80. You can see there it slows down and lets cars in that want to turn in. It picks them up. And so you can see, yeah, 80, I can touch the screen here, or I can do it the safer way of keeping my eyes on the road by holding that stalk down for a couple of seconds. And you can see there it's now matched the speed zone. So we're going to sit here on 80. You can see it's still on 75 because I'm matched to the car in front of me. Now, if I want to change lanes and go past that car, I just indicate, brake the Autosteer, give it a little bit of acceleration, back off the throttle again. You need to turn off your indicator first, double tap, and then you can activate the Autosteer on again. So you can see here, one hand on the wheel at all times. I'm not steering the car, it's steering itself. I'm not touching the brake or accelerator pedal. It's doing this all on its own. So basically there's that way to change lanes, or the other way to change lanes is to turn the whole system off, which is a lift of the stalk. Just a light tap of that stalk, you can see that whole system turned off and regen braking comes in. To reactivate, make sure, just a word of advice, make sure you're towards the middle of the lane when you activate it. If I'm over to the right here and I activate Autosteer, yeah, if you're too far across, it won't actually activate. So you can see here now, speed zone's dropped to 70. I hold that stalk down. My set speed is matched now to 70. And it automatically pulled up behind that car, no problem. I don't have the full self-driving package, so this car won't stop for a red light. Something to remember, it will pull up behind a car that has stopped for the red light though. In this situation, you can see. This system is a bit different to what I had in my Tiguan. You had to actually either press a button on the steering wheel or touch the accelerator for the car to go again. The Tesla system will actually take off when it senses the car in front go. So you can see here, I'm still not touching the accelerator. The car takes off. Can be a little bit slow at times. Sometimes you do need to give it a bit of help with the accelerator. Just to give it a you know, so you're not annoying the people behind you. Doesn't always do that. Most of the time it does, but not all the time. We're coming up to a couple of intersections here. Now, if I don't get a red light, you'll see that there are some scenarios where it is unsafe. Sometimes this one does try and steer into the other lane. See those lines coming across? No, today it's actually found it. It's no problem. If you feel a little unsafe with the speed the car's doing, you can always just back that set speed off a little bit. You can see there, it manages quite well on the larger intersections with all those lines all over the place. But yeah, look, using autopilot on roads like this, I think when you've got slow traffic, it's much better. I think if you've got traffic that is moving fast, then slowing down, then moving fast and slowing down, it can become a little bit annoying. It does brake harshly sometimes. See here, this is quite a large intersection with lines all over the place. It handled that no problem. So you do need to be careful. So this system is still improving. I know when I first got this car, around 4 months ago, it did struggle with those intersections. It has improved. Majority of the time it is going through those larger intersections without a problem. As long as it can see further ahead. If you have a car right in front of you, sometimes it really can just lose those markings, and you will see those, it will give you a warning saying it can no longer see the road again and take over immediately. If you don't take over, I believe it will slow the car down and put the hazards on, so it will brake for you. Anyway, I can leave the system going here. I might only just talk if I need to. We've got a couple of intersections coming up that this car does struggle with, so I really want to leave it filming. And you can see here it's quite good in this traffic. Slow moving traffic like this, good clear lane markings. It can actually reduce some of that stress of sitting in traffic. So you can see here the cars are only taking off slowly anyway. The car is doing it all itself. It's got through this intersection fine, no problem. Keeping a nice distance. So remember, I'm on distance 1. That's the closest, but you can see here it is still keeping a nice distance between me and the car in front. It doesn't sort of tend to tailgate people. So we will be coming up into some standstill traffic again. And you can see I haven't had to intervene here at all. It's quite a reliable system. It's really only the occasional intersection it has issues with. And on your regular commute, you'll get to learn that. You'll get to learn where it is safe to use this system and where it isn't. But overall, I think on a freeway, highway, in this sort of scenario with start-stop traffic, I think really the car doesn't get distracted by things. I think it's quite a good system to use. Once you're used to it and confident with it, I think it does reduce the risk of an accident on the freeway or in bumper-to-bumper traffic. It's always going to stop. It's not going to hit the car in front. That's another thing you need to get used to. I was used to before. See, speed zone change, hold down of the stalk. Set speeds change to 60. So it really won't, as Elon Musk says, the main directive of this car is do not crash when it's in autopilot or full self-driving mode or whatever mode you're in. Its main objective is to not crash into anything. So it's just a matter of getting used to these systems and trusting the car. It takes a while to get used to that feeling of wanting to jump on go for the brake pedal. But here it's doing quite a smooth job of this this traffic, which is sort of slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. And you see here, even with the roadwork symbols here, it's doing quite a good job. And if you really want to see what the car is looking at, you can see it really picks up cars that are 50, 100 meters in front and even behind. Look at all those cars it's picking up behind there. So the car is seeing a lot behind. It's you can see there, even where there's roadworks and things, as long as it has a rough idea where the middle of the road is and where your lane is, it does a pretty good job. And you'll occasionally see it's there searching. Those little blue tram lines will wobble around a bit. That's just it processing the image data as it comes through. I'm going to keep it going for a bit longer. There's a couple of intersections up here where it has a problem. This one coming now, I've never made it through with the Autosteer on, and you'll see it should pick up that there's an issue pretty soon. It will try and steer into that lane. Yep, I had to grab the steering wheel and correct it. And that's quite easy to do as long as you're ready for it. Re-enabled the auto steer. And from now right through, I shouldn't have to intervene at all. Even this quite large intersection here, it will do fine. Now we're shifting into a 70 km/h zone again. So remember, I can just do that with the thumb wheels. 65, 70, no problem. Or I could have just held the stalk down or touched the screen. I prefer to do it a way where you're not taking your eyes off the road. So for me, I prefer to hold down the stalk for a couple of seconds and get it to change my set speed then. As I mentioned in the previous video going through the setup, I really don't like it where the car automatically changes the set speed by reading the road signs. It can get those things wrong. It can read 40 signs and it can then decelerate quite quickly when you're not prepared. And also when you're running along the freeway, driving along the freeway, when you go past an exit ramp, it can often read the signs on the exit ramp. It's getting better at that. And then it will drop your speed down to 80. And you can see there it just struggled with the lines a bit, but it still kept the car within the lane. You can see there it's still quite safe. But yeah, I think it'll do quite a harsh deceleration on the freeway near an exit ramp, and that can be quite scary for you. So that's why I don't use the auto setting, the auto set speed off the speed signs for that reason. I just keep it, and I'm used to the traditional cruise control. So if you have to change lanes and just disable the auto steer, remember it does still keep that traffic aware cruise control going. So you'll change lanes, you'll break the auto steer, and then you'll wonder why it's accelerating still. So just be prepared that if you just break the auto steer by indicating and moving the steering wheel to change lanes, it does keep that traffic aware cruise control going. So the car will still keep its set speed. If you want to change lanes and you want to slow down, you know you're going to turn a corner, you're better off just deactivating the system like this, pushing the stalk up, it's deactivated, and you take over the accelerating and braking again. Once you know you've got an exit coming up or a turn coming up. So I'll reactivate it here again, double tap. You can see because I turned the whole system off, it's gone to 48 km/h. Hold the stalk down, back to 70. Give it a bit of help to accelerate again. It is quite slow to come back up to speed, but that's something that will improve over time. Okay, I've got a couple of big intersections coming up here. Now, this large one here actually goes under, it's an underpass over another road. So there is quite a big distance where there aren't any guide markings. So I've always been quite careful here, but I've never lost auto steer through here yet. If there's other cars around, it must be using a combination of following the car in front and the lane markings. And you've got to remember the car is still capable, if it can see past the car in front, it is able to pick up those line markings from a long way. You know, let's just see. I'll keep quiet and yeah, we'll just do a bit more driving here, and then I'll finish up the video. If anyone's got any questions on this system, I think this is good to show that the standard autopilot package that the car comes with is quite good. The full self-driving package, I trialed it for a couple of days and then got a refund because I just think most of the features you get now, you're not getting a full self-driving package. It's a lot of money to have, you know, the auto parking is very clunky. It's not as smooth as some of these people show you in their YouTube videos. I came from a Volkswagen that had that feature as well, and it was quite good at that. Look at here, this big long intersection. Whoop, it just tried to steer in the other lane. I had to take control. Hasn't done that before. It's usually quite good at that intersection. Here we've got a car wanting to come in, so I've had to put my foot on the brake. The car didn't slow down for them. Auto steer on again. Set speed back to 70. Yeah, so I had a Volkswagen Tiguan and it had the auto park, parallel parking, reverse park. It was a good system. Once you got used to the sequence that you had to sort of, and the things required for it to do the parking, it got quite good. I mean, look, I'm average at parallel parking. I can pull it off most times, so I didn't really use it that often, but it was quite a good system. When I trialed the full self-driving, the auto parking here with the Tesla, for me anyway, I found it very clunky. If it came with the car, no problem, but for $10,000 for that full self-driving package, yeah, no, it's not worth the money at the moment. The only thing I really did like was the auto lane change on the freeway, not having to break that auto steer to change lanes. That was quite good. Even stopping, stop start for the red and green traffic lights. That system was very clunky as well. It didn't always work how you expected it to work. The car was very slow to take off. And yeah, I wasn't that impressed. I got a refund. Maybe one day, if it improves dramatically, or if it goes to a subscription basis, you can just trial that for a month and see if you like it. I'm not recommending it at the moment. I don't think it's worth the money. Maybe if you do a lot of freeway driving, but then you still need to consider $10,000 is a lot of money for just having auto lane change. So look, for me, yeah, I think it's not worth it. That's my recommendation. I would wait a while, drive the car, see what you think of this standard autopilot package before, and make a decision from there. Anyway, it's something that you can just trial, do for a part of your journey, see if you get comfortable with it. I just think really they've got to get better at dealing with these lane markings that are in these intersections here, these guidelines for the incoming traffic coming in from the side. I think, yeah, most cars with Autosteer really do struggle with that. Tesla's not alone. And, I can really see, people abusing this and crashing. It's a shame, they're the minority of people, I think, would abuse it. You really just can't sort of kick back and not watch the road. You really do need to still be aware. But it does sort of ease the burden a little bit of driving. I look at it as a backup system for your driving ability. So once you get used to having this, it's like this car, it's driving itself right now, but I'm still paying attention to the road. But if for some reason I did get distracted for whatever reason, this car, it's backup. It's a safety backup, and I think it's a positive thing. The Tesla Autopilot system, Tesla gets picked on for a lot of things. They get picked on for features that a lot of other cars have, and that doesn't even get a mention. I think really it's a bit of an unfortunate name, Autopilot. It's not really an autopilot. I don't know, I think they could have come up with a better name. I'm not the person to come up with that name, obviously, but I can't think of a better name for it. But, the traffic aware cruise control and the Autosteer, I think there's got to be a better name for that doesn't give you the impression that the car, you just let the car drive itself. I think it's a secondary backup system to yourself, and you can see here it's managing quite well at the moment. And yeah, I find it quite a good feature. And I don't use it all the time. Even the whole full self-driving thing, I don't know. I'm a bit unsure about that. I really enjoy driving, and especially I really enjoy driving an electric vehicle now, owning this for a few months. So I don't know, maybe for some, full self-driving is not really, a couple of things I like. I'd love to go to the shopping centre, let the car go park itself and deal with that, especially at Christmas time. But yeah, other scenarios I really enjoy driving, and this autopilot system, really does what you need it to. It's good enough for me at this stage. Let's have a look at the animations again. Look at that. Bumper to bumper traffic. Still got pretty good vision of what's going on around us. Yeah. Really think it's amazing. You know, these this you know, full self-driving, the animations here. Just give you a picture, you can see it finding those traffic lights coming up, spotting them, spotting the turning signals on the road. This is basically giving you a preview of what the car is seeing, you know, later on when this car is capable of driving itself. Yeah, pretty amazing. You can see it even picking up the speed signs there. Picks up garbage bins, dogs, people, bikes. It's supposed to now pick up emergency vehicles. I haven't seen an emergency vehicle animation, and I have been sitting right next to a police car a couple of times. It doesn't seem to be doing that animation yet. For me, anyway. Might just end the video here, guys. I'm about to exit off. Once again, appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully I've taught you something. You've learned something that you didn't learn by just reading the manual. That's my goal. I really think it was worthwhile here for this autopilot. There are a few things that really I think are good to see being practically used, and instead of just reading the manual, see it in practice. Anyway guys, thanks again for watching. Catch you next video.